Seed Strike, starter number 4 here for the Gundam card game. We've reached the end of the line as far as the first 4 starters go, and welcome to this video series. What I've been doing is opening these up, going card by card, talking about each one, and then at the end, giving some tips and tricks for how to play this deck, because we've got that starter event coming up this weekend for the Gundam card game. It's finally going to be here, and so hopefully this video will help you get prepared for that. And again, a little bit of excitement. The starter deck may include all foil versions of the same cards. I hope I get it. I didn't get it with the first 3, but maybe, just maybe, we'll get lucky with this one. At the very least, we've got that special pack to open that will give us a foil version of one of 16 cards preset in the deck. We got that for a little bit extra cool alternate foiling kind of thing. I got the Fall Mail with ST03, which I'm very excited about. The deck also comes with a playmat, as you can see, blah, 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 and some rules as well. And again, this video kind of assumes that you know some of the basics of the rules of the Gundam card game. I'm not going to be going over everything super in depth, but I will be going over enough that hopefully you'll be able to, catch on and get some tips and tricks from what we talk about here. But let's see what our foil is. It is, whoa, it's the alternate legend rare. Whoa, Aegis Gundam. We hit big. Look at that beautiful, I would say like textured foiling. Awesome. So this is going to be in the deck as well, but that is so sick. This is the first legend rare pull I've got from that. Man, that is a beautiful piece of art too. And I will say, Seed is one of the only Gundam series that I have not seen. So I've built some of the model kits. In fact, Aegis Gundam was one of my first RGs I built, and I love that one. But I have not seen the series, so I won't have any clever quips really about the characters and things this time, because I haven't watched it yet. But how cool is that? We got the legend rare. Nice. That's awesome. We're one of the 2 legend rares, right? We'll look at all of them here. But and I noticed too, I will say this, like, subscribe, please, helps the channel out a lot. I noticed like 96% of the people watching my videos at the moment are not subbed to the channel, so please help me. It helps the channel. I know everybody says that, but it's true. Anyway, let's move on to our first 2 legend rares. We get 2 of the Ailstrike Gundam. This is white-red, by the way, in terms of colors, and the Ailstrike Gundam is level 5, 4 cost. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, we'll go over this again real quick. Level 5 means you need to have 5 resources minimum in play to play the card at all. Cost is just simply the number of resources you need to turn sideways to get the card on the board. So level 5, 4 cost. Generally, the cost is 1 less than the level because the pilots cost 1 in most cases. So that way, when you have 5 resources, you can play the mobile suit and the matching pilot, and that get that immediate attack with the link unit, which in this case is Kira Yamato. But this is a blocker. White includes a lot of blocking as a color trait. And then it says, when paired with a level 4 or higher pilot, choose 1 enemy unit with 4 or less HP, return it to owner's hand. So this also gives us another glimpse of what white does, which is bouncing to hand, which can be risky in this game, because if you bounce a mobile suit with a pilot on it to hand, the pilot goes with it. A lot of other games, you would lose the cards attached to the unit that's being bounced, but in this one, the pilot goes with it. So if you bounce a linked unit, you know that's going to be coming back at you really fast. So you do need to be a little bit more careful with how you return things to hand in this game, I think. But it still can be a powerful ability on occasion if you get rid of a blocker that lets you free up some better attacks. It's always good, but you do need to be aware that the pilot goes with the mobile suit that you are returning to hand. So you might open yourself up to link unit attacks on the next turn if you're not careful. 4/4 stat line, I think just a solid blocker and a solid bounce ability too. I mean, to be fair, you do make them spend the resources to play it again. So you do slow them down either way. Now here is our other legend rare, the Aegis Gundam, right? We just talked about that, and let's compare the alt art to the other one. And before, we kind of just saw some, full art versions, but this is legit alt art, right? We've got the Freedom Treaty. Like I said, I haven't seen Seed, so I don't know what the first part of that would be, but we've got some cool extra background stuff. We're zoomed in a little bit on the Gundam in the alt art. Very cool. Here's the original one, though. Still looks good, and we still have that textured foiling with it. But this is level 4, 3 costs. Attack. If this unit has 5 or more AP, choose 1 enemy unit that is level 5 or higher. Deal 3 damage to it. Again, red, a hallmark of that is direct damage. So I would assume if you have Atherin Zala, or really any pilot on it that gives plus attack, you're going to get to do 3 damage to a unit. But it's level 5 or higher. So it's interesting because this damage is dealt to higher level units. So it's got that late game power. That said, it is an attack ability, so you can have this on the board already. They play a high unit, you do a big chunk of damage to it. So it's just kind of a good way to ensure that some of their value units that they get to play later in the game are going to have a harder time being 3 HP down. So I do like that one a lot. That's interesting. It didn't get the foil everything, unfortunately, but that's okay. We still got the cool starter. Now we're going to go through card by card. You get 4 of the Strike Gundam. Level 4, 2 cost, deploy, draw 1, then discard 1. So a little bit of cycling with your deck, so that's not bad as well. Get to set up maybe the right pilot on the right thing. Kira Yamato, of course, the pilot of the Strike Gundam. According to this, I haven't seen the show, so I'll just assume that's correct, right? But solid mid-range card, 3/3 stat line, only costs 2. Not bad. Hand filtering is always good in a card game. Moving on to the Mobius Zero. Wow, this thing looks wild. Level 3, 2 cost, 2/4 Mulaflaga, which is a great name for a pilot, is the Link unit here. All you Seed fans. Although I've heard Seed is very divisive. I've heard some people are not big fans of Seed, but I gotta say it has some of the best mobile suit design in all of Gundam, based on the kits I've built, right? So I know it's got some love there as well, especially with like Strike Freedom and all that. But we got Mobius Zero, 2/4, level 3, 2 cost. You know, kind of a vanilla medium range unit. Higher health than usual, but nothing to write home about, I would say. But a good thing to put a pilot on, maybe. Then we have the Mobius. Okay, level 1, cost 1, 1/1 blocker. I love 1/1 blockers. And thankfully, this game does have a good amount of 1/1 chump blockers. And when I say chump blockers, I just mean something you can throw in front of your opponent's units just to cause them to have to use an attack on it, right? Late game, these can be game winning, right? If you find a couple of these late game, you get 3 of these in this deck. Because your opponent's about to go for a game. On your turn, you play your turns in the very end, you throw down your 1/1 blocker, and they're like, I don't have enough attacks now, and you buy yourself another turn to come back, right? So these 1/1 blockers, do not sleep on them. They are super, super strong cards. We also have Strike Dagger, a 3/2, level 2, 2 cost. Okay, yeah, so decent stats for the cost. If you are going second, it does ask you to burn your EX resource to play it on your first turn, which is a very risky proposition. I would say if you're really, really sure you'll be able to attack in and take out their EX base, sometimes it's worth it. But man, I love saving that EX unit or EX resource rather, for a few turns just to make sure I can play something a little bit bigger earlier than my opponent. And you know what? Let's actually take a look at that stuff for just a second. Talk about that as it's going to kind of inform the rest of the conversation. So you've got your resources, 10 that come with the deck. You've got your EX base. Everybody starts with an EX base above their shields, just a vanilla base of 3 HP. And then you've got your EX resource. So again, if you go second in the game, you get an EX resource, which is a one-time resource, but it is very valuable in that it unlocks a higher level for the cards you can play earlier, you know? So if you can save it for a turn, if you can spare it and not use it, you'll be able to play something a bit higher level a bit before your opponent can, and that can make the difference sometimes. Once in a great while, you'll use it on turn 1, but I find that to be very rare. Although I will say, in certain situations, maybe you do want to play the Strike Dagger with your EX resource. Unlikely. Lean on the side of don't do it, but look for the opportunities where you can. It looks like we've got some tokens as well, so we'll get into those a little bit later once we find the token generating cards. Pretty much all the decks have some sort of token generation. Let's move on to our 4th unit here. You get 4 of these. It is the Aegis Gundam MA mode. Level 4, 3 cost, Breach 3. So, okay, so red has a little bit of Breach as well. Breach was generally a green ability. Red apparently gets access to it too, which is where when you destroy a unit with this unit, you get to do the Breach damage, so in this case 3, to their shield area. So it would either hit their base if they have a base, or it would hit one of their shields. So level 4, good stats, Breach 3. This is a great little mid-range unit. I love it. And then if you do get to play the match pilot Atherin Zal in this case on it, so much the better, right? So I think that's going to be one of your mid-game powerhouses. Meanwhile, we got level 2, 1 cost, so this is very easily playable on your first turn if you have the EX resource without burning the EX resource, crucially. It is a 2/2 for 1. Honestly, this is a great first card. I mean, just getting to start out with a 2/2, it's going to help you trade really well with a lot of things. There's a lot of 1/2s out there early on. Really nice. Doesn't have a link trait, so you're never going to be able to attack the turn you play it. But that said, I think one of the better 1 cost cards in the game as far as the aggression standpoint goes. Next, we've got 3 of these. It looks like we've got Miguel's Jin here. Level 2, 2 cost, during pair. So just when it's paired with any pilot and then it's destroyed, if you have another link unit in play, draw 1. Oh, okay. So it synergizes decently with having another link unit out there. Card draw is really big in the starter deck environment specifically because, like I would say 99% of starter decks and 99% of card games, you do get into top deck wars a lot of times, and Gundam's no different. And I don't really fault that for it. It's very, very difficult to make starter decks that include lots of card draw. They generally kind of end up being a little bit too strong there. And you want players to have sort of that first game experience, right? You don't necessarily want to have a really efficient deck as a starter deck. So anything that draws you cards in a starter deck is pretty high value. So level 2, 2 cost, 3 attack is great. And then the fact that you have a link opportunity with Miguel, Amon, it's solid card in general, but really, really try to make sure you get the card draw with this because card draw is so vital in the starter deck battle environment. Moving on to a pilot card, we've got Kira Yamato. Level 4, 1 cost, +2/+1 for the stats. Burst, if it comes out of your shield area, it goes to your hand. This is universal. I'm going to say on all pilots I've seen. Maybe there's one that doesn't have it, but I have seen this, I believe, on every single pilot card so far. +2/+1, great stats. And then on attack, choose an enemy unit. It gets AP -2 during this battle. So kind of nice. You can attack into something and protect your mobile suit a little bit better. And otherwise, just do some damage. 4 of those. And it pairs with multiple units here, too. Or links, I should say, with multiple units. I have to use the specific terminology. We've also got Athra Zala. Level 4, 1 cost, +1/+2. So opposite stats there. And then when linked, so specifically on a link unit, during this turn, this unit may choose an active enemy unit that is level 5 or lower as its attack target. Ooh, okay. So you get to attack active units with this. That is a strong ability. It requires you to be on a linked unit, so it has to be the matching mobile suit. But being able to attack a active unit is pretty strong because you can kind of take advantage of your opponent who thought their mobile suit was safe, but then Athra Zala slams in. Now we've got our command card, Striker Pack, level 4, 2 cost, burst. So basically, if this comes out of life, if you have no Earth Alliance unit tokens in play, deploy 1 Ailstrike Gundam 3/3 blocker unit token. So that is this one here. So you get 1 of these if this card comes out of life. Otherwise, if you play it during your main phase and your turn, if you have no Earth Alliance unit tokens in play, you deploy 1 of the 4/2 blocker units. So let's find that real quick here. We got a lot of tokens here. All right, let's set this down for a second. Grab 1 of these, grab 1 of these, grab 1 of these. Okay, so. All right, we've got this card. So again, when you play it on your turn, you get to do a lot more. If you have no Earth Alliance units in play, you deploy 1 of the 4/2 blockers. So pretty heavy hitting blocker. There you go. Get that one. Very nice. Or 1 Launcher Strike Gundam Earth Alliance 2/4 blocker unit. Oh, okay. So you get to choose. That's cool. So if you play it during your main phase, you get to choose between these 2. They're both blockers. One's a 2/4, one's a 4/2. I love that flexibility because there's going to be, this is a real meaningful choice, right? Do you want a blocker that can maybe soak multiple small attacks? Or do you want a blocker that's just going to straight up kill one of their big units that has to attack into it? Really, really cool card. I like this one a lot. I love the flexibility of it. You get 3 of those. That's great. And then we get our first command and pilot cards. So this one you have to choose when you play it. Are you going to play it as the command version and use this ability? Or are you going to play it as a pilot and get these stats, right? Mullah Flaga, we know he's got a link unit in the starter deck. Gives +1/+0. And then you can also play it as the command card, Hawk of Endymion. Endymion? I don't know. Seed fans hate me. During your main phase, so during your turn, or as an action, so you can play it after an attack is declared, during a battle, that kind of thing. Choose 1 enemy unit with 3 or less HP, return it to its owner's hand. Ooh, okay. So they attack with something. If it's got 3 or less HP, you can just bounce it. Or they attack with something, you bounce something else. On your turn, you bounce their blocker, get rid of that chump blocker here. So pretty versatile command ability. I've got a feeling you're going to be playing this more as a command card than as a pilot, unless you can make that link unit happen. All right, we've got The Magic Bullet of Dusk. Whoa. Level 3, 1 cost command card, or it's Miguel Amen as a 0/1 pilot. Main/action, going back to the command usage for this. Choose one friendly unit that's level 2 or below. It gains first strike during this turn. So that lets it deal damage before the enemy unit. So potentially you can attack an enemy unit, kill it, and not take damage back, right? If you're not dealing damage that will straight up kill the unit you're attacking, you'll still take damage back, right? Because you're only dealing damage before the enemy unit. But if that damage takes it out, you don't take damage back. So it can be useful there. You get 2 of those. So great command ability. And again, if you find the link unit, it can be useful there too. Moving on to our bases. The final 2 cards in the starter deck, we start out with Archangel, level 3, 1 cost, 5 HP base. If it comes out of your life, if it comes out of your shields, you get to deploy it right away. When you deploy it, you add one of your shields to your hand. That's universal across spaces, but that's okay because you're A, drawing a card, and B, replacing a 1 HP shield with a 5 HP shield. And then activate main. Once during turn, pay 2. Choose one friendly unit with blockers. Set it as active. It can't attack during this turn. So this is a great ability. We had this card in the beta environment, and I liked it a lot because you can take one of your blockers. Let's say, for example, let's grab the what's a good one? Well, let's just grab the legend rare. Let's say you have one of your Ailstrike Gundams in play. You get to attack with it. You attack with it, and then at the end of your turn, you go ahead and use this. You pay 2 to set this as active again so that it can be used as a blocker on your opponent's turn. So this card basically enables your blocking units to be attackers also. Normally, you wouldn't attack with your blockers. You'd want to save them because blocking involves resting the unit, and you can't rest it if it's already rested from attacking. So that lets you get around it a little bit. Really, really strong base in this deck. And I think just strong in general. We also have Vesalius, our level 3, 1 cost base, 5 HP. Deploy the card with burst again. Add a shield to your hand when it's deployed. But it has the activate main ability of rest this base. Choose one friendly unit. It gets AP +1 during this turn. Okay, nice. Just nice and simple. Give 1 attack power to one of your units. That can be extremely useful in this game. 1 attack can make the difference between making an efficient trade or not, killing a base or not. So again, it's nice to have the protection for the shield area, but this space is a real threat as well. Great art too. I love some of the ships in the Gundam universe. So yeah, that's our deck. Let's talk about tips and tricks just in general with this deck. So you have a really sort of interesting combination of aggression in red and direct damage in red, but also a good amount of tempo and blocking and safety in white. So this is a control deck. Make no mistake. This is not an aggro deck. You're not going to want to go ham with this. You're going to want to be very choosy about your attacks. You're going to want to control your opponent's board. Because in this case, you think of the red cards, the damage dealing, the attack buffing, as tools to help you keep your opponent's board clear, right? We have a good amount of higher health stuff in the 2-4 Mobius Zero, in the 4-4 Ailstrike Gundam, in the 3-4 Aegis MA mode, so MA mode. So you want to do what you can to keep those healthy. Build a board while just efficiently killing your opponent's units with attack, with direct damage, and then, going in for the kill once you have opportunities, right? And you're going to be looking for opportunities. And to be fair, a lot of what I'm saying will apply to any of the starter decks. It's just good principles in general with the Gundam card game. But I think even more so because you are not a fast deck. You are a control deck here. You are focused on controlling your opponent's board. That said, while doing your control, make sure you're looking for opportunities to attack. Do you have a turn where you've got enough blockers out that their units on the board aren't going to be that much of a problem? If you do, maybe send one of your units into attack. Make sure you're using Archangel to get attacks when you have opportunities as well, right? Where you can attack with a blocker and then stand it up again with the ability. Make sure you save the 2 resources for that. So the key to this deck is board control, but also finding opportunities for 1 attack, maybe 2 attacks maximum per turn, as you start to build the board a little bit more. But just think of this deck as like a fencing match, right? You're going to be parrying a lot. You're going to want to look for those opportunities to just poke in and thrust and do a damage here, take a shield out here, and just whittle them down, right? I think this deck takes a little bit more finesse to play than some of the other starter decks. I think it might be a little bit tougher to pilot if you're a first-time TCG player, Otherwise, if you're an experienced TCG player, you might get a lot of enjoyment out of the slightly added complexity. I don't think any of the decks, the starter decks, are vastly more complex or more difficult to play than the others. I think if you hand pretty much anybody any of these decks, they'll be able to get it pretty quickly. But I will say this one probably requires the most finesse out of the starter decks we've seen. So keep that in mind. But don't let it scare you away from it. If you like Seed as a series, if you like the mobile suits, if you like the red-white color combo, go for it, right? So that's the tips and tricks. I'm so happy we got the Alt Art Legend Rare. That is so sick. All right, one more time. Yeah, we got it. We got to see it. Oh, it's such a beautiful card. But they really went all out with the cards in this game. I can't wait to crack some booster packs later this month. But anyway, hope it helped everyone. Hope it helped get you prepared for your starter events this weekend, or just learn the deck if you're coming to this video a little bit later. Let me know in the comments below. And again, please like and subscribe. Helps the channel a lot. Until next time, happy card gaming. I'll be back when there are more starters out there, and starting, probably next week, and certainly after the boosters come out and this game is fully released, we're going to be doing a lot of deck techs on the channel and hopefully some gameplay as well. And yeah, can't wait to do all that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you next time.